already seen the squad that we have here in Austria. We planned when we came, or before, we already planned to have the full squad we wanted to go and take to the Gold Cup. But for a lot of reasons, we saw that early on that we would never be able to have all the players here. So we needed to adjust. We brought in some young players that we wanted to see, both for the future and for the national team at the moment. But there is some noticeable absentees in this squad list. First of all, Michail Antonio. So he played the final a week later. It was a small celebration as well afterwards. So we decided to give him a much needed extra week because he played 1 week longer than other players. So that was a decision we took with the medical team at West Ham and himself. He played a lot of minutes in the end of the season, so he needs to be fresh for the Gold Cup. Bobby Reid, Leon Bailey had some injuries in the end of the season, and there was a request and a recommendation from the medical team to give them at least an extra week or until the 20th when we go to Chicago, and we accepted that reason, so they will join us in Chicago on the 20th. Ethan Pinnock, his wife gave birth 2 days ago, their 4th child, a girl. Everybody is feeling good and upbeat, and he will join us in Chicago. Damien Lowe picked up an injury last game, was taken off after 12 minutes in the first half. And we've been monitoring his situation. He got a scan 2 days ago, an MRI, and he has a grade 1 muscle injury. Should be okay for the Gold Cup, but we take it day by day, and we are in contact with their medical team. So that is maybe the most notable names that are missing. Kemal Lawrence as well didn't have the Schengen visa, so we decided he would just meet us in Chicago. So don't think I need to talk more about this. So we just jump into the questions. If you take over, Simon.
Thank you very much, Coach. So if you have a question, we kindly ask that you indicate with your hand. You'll be identified, and of course you'll get the opportunity to ask Coach a question. We have about 10 minutes in terms of this Q&A section, and then of course the preparation continues with the coaching staff ahead of tomorrow's clash against Qatar. So you may raise your hand if you'd like to indicate to ask a question, and then we'll commence proceedings. Okay, let's start with Tigat from Sports Down the Middle. You may unmute and ask Coach, either Coach John Wall, assistant, or Head Coach Hallgrimsson, your question.
Yes, good morning, Coach. Good morning, assistant, and good morning, Simon. What about the other players that you didn't mention their names, like the Demarai Gray and so on? Will these players be joining you for the Gold Cup, or we have to just wait and see?
So I heard you mention Demarai Gray. His papers are not 100% sorted. We hope that he will be ready, and we kind of don't want to talk about things that are not 100%. So we'll just hope and see if he'll be ready. But let's say it's looking good, but nothing is certain until it's certain. So it's looking good.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Tigat, do you have a follow-up question, or we can proceed?
You can proceed.
All right. Thank you. Let's now move to Emil Smith. You may unmute.
You make it bigger.
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning. Go ahead.
Hearing me? Okay. Good morning, Coach. I have a few questions. First one being, how do you encourage innovation and creativity within the coaching staff, and what strategies have you been implementing to foster professional growth and development among the staff members?
Well, I have my methods of coaching. I pick the coaches or the staff members I pick them for the reasons that they will add something to and know something and are better than me in areas. So that is one way of growing, is to add in people and persons that both on the pitch but also off the pitch that will give something extra to the squad. We have a lot of meetings, probably. The staff members have never had as many meetings as we have had. So we try to discuss things, get the best solutions out of every problems. So we talk about everything, how we can improve, not now, but also in the future. So I think just to be open about, there is a lot of solutions to solve. I think that is probably as we stand, we need to find stability in our work. We need to improve the professionalism in what we are doing. But it's a culture change, and those changes always need time. If you would like to add something to this, John?
Yeah, creativity and freedom. I think those are two things that you actually deserve before you can actually start attributing that part. I think structure comes first. And right now is about building structure and to know what's expected every day, day in, day out, even down to the morning, down to scheduling, what to expect from when we show up, how we do, and it all comes from the staff first, of course. So for me, it's more of a point where when we deserve and to move on, and where everyone on staff feel that this is us, that's what creativity and freedom can actually flourish. Because I haven't heard any movie director talking about creativity and freedom before anyone knows the actual manuscript.
Emil, you said you had another question. Before you do that, can you identify your organization? Before
This is at Sports TV.
Okay, one more question from you.
One more, okay. What are your thoughts on the opposition and how they will challenge the Reggae Boys in these upcoming matches?
Well, if you start with the game tomorrow, we are more focusing on the game tomorrow. So we only got our squad together now, today, and so we didn't have much time to prepare. So we are focusing on one opponent at a time. So I know Qatar and the national team players quite well, so I know what kind of an opponent they are. He's given new players a chance to show and shine. Has been quite, in the past, has been quite same players, maybe let's say 15, 16 players playing all their national team matches. So he's given players a chance, and I know they have been waiting a lot of time for their chance. So I know there will be enthusiastic players from Qatar facing us tomorrow. So hard-working players in the squad now. Yeah, it's going to be a big test for us. And just to compare the preparation, they were here in Austria 14 days ago with their whole squad and all their 70 delegation members. So they have prepared for this match really, really well. Prior to coming here, they were in Qatar on a training camp. So it's a big difference in the time and amount they have invested in preparing this match. So they take it really seriously. We know their individual quality. So skillful players, hardworking players, some standouts, but also players that haven't had a lot of experience. So it's a pretty good Qatari team.
Thanks very much, Emil. Let's now move on to football in 90. Javon Turner.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
All right, thank you. Coach, this is my first question pertaining to what you mentioned before, Qatar, they just coming off a recent World Cup experience with, some of the players coming back. How are the boys looking for this matchup, and knowing that we might potentially face them in the knockout stages of the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I feel only positivity in the squad. It's an upbeat squad. We've been together 1.5 days with the whole squad. So, but it is a good vibe. Of course, the focus is to be ready when the Gold Cup starts, but all preparation matches are important. We are not thinking about if we meet them later on. That would be a issue when that happens, if that happens. But now we're just focusing on doing a good performance tomorrow. You want to add something to Qatar, because you were analyzing Qatar, and maybe follow up on the question about Jordan.
Yeah. No, it's kind of interesting to see the potential cultural change that's happened, and obviously in their selection of Qatar, which is a bit different. But I think their head coach is he wants to impose a lot of his style pretty early on, I would guess. And I think that change in itself is going to bring some interesting dynamics to the game. And added on the hunger of those players that are within their squad, plus Jordan, who's it's really a team on the rise in the MENA region. And they actually kind of moved a few notches up compared to United Arab Emirates. So they've taken that part of the throne. So what you're having right now, because it's almost becoming the real football mecca, at least for players who are 30 plus, sorry for saying it. So it's kind of a growing region fueled by infamous riches. So it's pretty interesting to see. But I think Jordan is kind of an underrated team, flying a little bit under the radar, actually.
Maybe some of you don't know, but there was a head coach change in Qatar. So Carlos Queiroz is now the head coach for Qatar, and he's known for organizing his teams. So they will be well drilled when we face them tomorrow.
Any follow-up, Javon?
Oh yeah, sure. Young Dejon Richards, getting another opportunity. Can you speak on anything you've seen from him, whether quality-wise or personality?
Yeah, I can talk about this kid. I watched him a lot at late. So you have in the same kid, physical strength, you have speed, you have skills, you have a really good left foot and a really good right foot. And in that package is a highly confident 17-year-old who is a goal scorer. So it's rare that you have all of these qualities in the same package. So this is how we see him now. He's been really good on the training sessions. He's quick to adapt. Is of course more speed around him now than he is used to back home. But he is going to one of the best clubs in the world, so he needs to be quick to step up into the tempo that he's going to.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks very much, Javon. Let's now go to Coach Minzy of Coach's Desk.
Yeah, man. Good day, everyone. Coach Amir and Wall, as well as Simon and the other journalists online. My question is, given the preparation that you'd have had, Coach, in terms of the players that you have available to you, do you believe that this is adequate preparation going into Gold Cup, seeing that these two games would have been good dress rehearsal for the Gold Cup game, but you don't have all your pieces to work with? What sort of constraint do you see this giving you going?
No. Let's take an ideal one. Would have been all the players here, and we could work with them for 10, 12, 13 days prior to to the first game on the 24th against US. That would have been ideal. But we don't live in a world that is perfect. So we have to just adapt to the situation. And even though we only have maybe a handful of players, we can still work with them this time so we can help them. Maybe the next guys in line, we can help them to grow and step up and be ready if needed, etc. So we are going to use this time really well to prepare those guys that are here. Ideally, of course, and I said it in the beginning, we planned with going with everyone to Austria, and we are really thankful for the guys that are here. But yeah, we are happy with the players that are here. We use it maybe in a little bit different way than we planned to in the beginning, but it's good facilities, really good facilities, good hotel we're staying at, good training pitch, 2 minutes walk into the training pitch. So we can go there whenever we want. If there's a player coming from a flight, yesterday, we just went on and did an individual session with him. So we use this as well as we possibly can. Jump in whenever you like.
Sure.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, certainly. Just another question real quick. The player Brandon Cover, if I got his name correct, he wasn't a part of this initial 50-man squad that was dropped. Will he be making that Gold Cup squad? I know probably that is inside information, but will he progress after you see him in these games?
He's one of these young players playing in England, but honestly, I think I will just throw that question to John that knows him better than me.
Yeah, I can be pretty open. He's not part of the Gold Cup. The fact that Damien being treated for his grade 1 open up the possibility of a really short flight so we can assess it a little bit more closely. For us, familiarize the players with what they're striving for, which should be the men's first national team, and getting that close and even. That head coach can watch a little bit closer. For me, I've just been assessing full games of him, monitoring him, and he's a good prospect.
Yeah, and he's picked in
the CAC games.
So he is going anyway to the CAC right after our camp here. So it was never the plan to bring him to US.
Thanks, Coach Minzy. Based on time and the persons that were raising their hand, we will have to have one question each. Let's go to Alex. Alex Reed, you may open your mic to ask your question.
Good morning, Mr. Emil Grimson. Morning, Simon. Good morning, General. I just want to ask a quick question. Is that you said that the medical staff rest to rest some other players, but why does Amari Bell take the initiative and sacrifice to come to this camp, and the other players doesn't do the same thing? Because you said the objective goal is to win the Gold Cup. Why everybody didn't take the sacrifice and come here and gel with the team, even though they're not going to play? They gel with the team going forward to Gold Cup. Isn't that a better option than just taking a rest? I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, it's a good and a valid question, and no problem to answer that one, because it's different. It's all different cases. So, for example, with Leon Bailey, Bobby Reed, they are doing treatment with their specialists. They are working on recovery. So I think it's better for us that they are fresh when it comes to the Gold Cup, rather than flying them here and being with us. We don't have all the same equipment like their medical team have. The same with Damien, with Nana. He wanted to come here, but he needs all kinds of treatment to speed up his recovery. So we would like that to be done in his club. So it's a good question. They could have sat here and listened to the meetings, but luckily all of these players have been with us for camps and a long time, so they kind of know what we are doing. and we will have ways to speed up all the things that we've been talking about when we meet in US on the 20th.
Thank you very much, Alex. We have time for one more question. You may unmute your mic, Mr. Blake, and proceed.
Good morning, good day, Coach Hallgrimson, Coach Wall, good day, Simon. Since I have one question, I'm going to ask it in 3 parts. Very quickly, Coach, can you indicate to us the impact of the changes in the Gold Cup group with Trinidad and Tobago joining us? And I have a part B, Simon. I hope you could allow that.
Part B is fine, but not part C. Go ahead.
No, again, I'm going to throw that question to John, but I watched in preparation for Nicaragua. I watched both the matches against Trinidad. We played Trinidad 2 times in Jamaica, so we know them quite well. And for us, it's not a good news because I thought Trinidad played on the day of both games against Nicaragua much better. So I think we get a much better opponent in Trinidad, or a much harder opponent in Trinidad than Nicaragua. You want to grab that question?
I can just say here. And for me, it's more about, well, it will bring another different spice to the game too, obviously, but every game in CONCACAF is hard and tough. But it's going to bring some extra spice to it. And we're aiming to get the cherry on top, of course.
Mr. Blake, quickly, you can proceed with part B before we wrap.
Very quickly, part B. This is related to the 50-man roster that was forwarded for the Gold Cup. There are 2 veteran players who were not included in that squad. We just wanted to ask for our information, not questioning your right as the coach to name your squad. Can you shed some light on possible reasons for the non-inclusion of Andre Gray, the striker who had scored 6 goals in 5 European matches this season, and Anthony Grant, who was at Crawley, who joined Crawley Town at the end of the season and assisted that club from being relegated? If you can just shed some light on the rationale for those non-inclusions in the 50-man squad. Thank you very much, Mr. Preston, for allowing the questions.
No, it's the same answer for both. We just thought that others were better suited for this camp and this tournament. So that is why.
Anything to add, John, or Coach summed it up?
No, I'm all good.
All right, Eddie, my apologies, but the time has wrapped up. So next time you can be able to come on a little bit earlier to be able to ask you questions. I want to say thank you very much to everybody that was able to tune into this press conference. We encourage you as well to go as well at 2:00 Jamaica time for the Reggae Girls press conference, take in the training session and get behind the girls, as Coach had said, in their build up towards the World Cup as well. Do give them their attention as well. And just a reminder, tomorrow's kickoff is 11 a.m. Jamaica time, and of course for the Jordan game on the 19th at 7 a.m. Jamaica time. Thank you very much to everybody that has tuned in, and stay tuned to the platforms, the Twitter and Instagram, JFF_football, the website, jff.football.com, and on YouTube at JFF Live for more information and content. Thank you very much to everyone, and have a pleasant rest of your day.
The recording has stopped.
And that is it, folks. 24 minutes. Hopefully you guys, some key pointers out of it. A lot of information share. Hopefully you guys are okay with it. Let me turn down the mic. Mic is a bit loud. So that's it, people. That's the press conference. Share, like, subscribe if you're here, and I'll see you guys again. Until next time.